So, as I mentioned yesterday, I normally, like I said, I normally don't do my lives mostly during the day, but I had to, like, literally, like, ooh, my eyebrows looking crazy. But I had to, like, do this one because of the news this week with Liz Cheney possibly losing her position. There's a possibility that she might keep her position. Like, I care. But this is so funny because who would ever thought that the GOP would be in a big ass disarray? Remember, they always have each other's backs no matter who was good, bad, and ugly. Right? So, you know, Liz Cheney, for those who are not in politics, in each chamber of Congress, there's always, you know, a leader. There is a conference person, and then there's another caucus chair. Like on the Democratic side, now that we have the majority, it's Nancy Pelosi's the speaker, Stony Hoyer is the majority leader, the majority whip is Jim Clyburn, and the House Democrat caucus leader is Hakeem Jeffries. And then on the Republican side, you have GOP leader Kevin McCarthy. Unfortunately, you have Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise is the minority whip. And then you have the GOP caucus chairperson, which is the number 3 Republican, is Elizabeth Lynn Cheney. The person who is in fear of her seat, who is not going to carry out the big lie. Now, everybody know I don't care. You know, Liz Cheney getting exactly what she deserved. And they want Elise Stefanik, the New York congresswoman, that's upstate, Western New York. She's not in New York City. She's Western New York because no Republicans in the city represents New York City in Congress. So it's mostly Democratic. And Politico put out this article. As much as the MAGA cult in Congress like her, the pundits and the other people, on the other hand, not quite as fan, according to Politico. Even though Donald Trump praised her as being so tough and is a new Republican star, you have folks in the MAGA cult that's basically don't like her. One describer from the Colombian Bungle, a slightly less annoying American last Republican. Lou Dobbs called her a rhino, who used to have the show on Fox Business. You have folks like Ann Coulter and Rasheen Kassim, editor-in-chief of the populist online outlet National Pulse, went on retweeting spree and highlighting the writer after the writer, tweet after the tweet, questioning Stefanik's commitment to the Trump movement core tenets and particularly on immigration. Janice Ellis, who was part of Trump's legal team, said, Stefanik, what? You had popular MAGA news and opinion sites were less sparring, with Revolver calling her a neocon establishment twit. A neocon establishment twit. You had Big League Politics, founded by Breitbart alumni, slamming her for only getting on the Trump's defense train in 2019 and characterizing her as a wolf in sheep clothing. So, but according to this article, which is important, she only backed Donald Trump 78% of the time versus Liz Cheney record at 93%, which is the most out of all House Republicans, even more than Matt Gaetz at 85%. But the history behind Stefanik is a Harvard grad, and she used to be once a respected Republican. But since Donald Trump came in office, like her and many other folks in the Republican Party, like Lindsey Olin Graham, had a lobotomy. And just, got on Trump's lap and start kissing his ring, which is not surprising. Not surprising at all. But am I enjoying this GOP disarray? Absolutely I am. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, they would have been laughing at us. And actually, it was kind of a similar situation back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton lost. And the GOP was laughing. Even folks in the Democratic Party on the left, especially, was laughing at us, like laughing OD at us. They were more happy with Donald Trump being the president of the United States versus Hillary Clinton. That's why I don't trust, especially these white leftists. That's why I don't trust them. Not saying I hate them. I don't trust them. But there are some that with blue checks I don't like. Even some black ones I don't like. And they know who they are. So pretty much, as they were enjoying what happened with us 5 years ago almost, I'm enjoying this shit. I wish I had a glass of wine right now, but I am enjoying this fucking shit. Like, it is comical. Like, funny as hell. And speaking of more of the GOP in disarray, you have Meghan McCain, the so-called political analyst on The View, who also looks like an ass on TV every day, decides she wants to still continuously come for Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's leading infectious diseases doctor. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? You saying that he's a liberal? Dr. Fauci's a liberal? Dr. Fauci worked for 6 presidential administrations, both Republican and Democrat, since the Reagan years. That's 40 years. This shit made it 40 years since he's been in government. And one of his first projects was to work on the AIDS crisis back in the 1980s. As much as Ronald Reagan was not a fan of the LGBTQ community, you have people like Anthony Fauci and even Dr. Birx, when she once had a good reputation at the time, worked on the AIDS crisis. So what the hell is Meghan talking about? And also, I can't forget, he did get awarded by then George Bush when he was the president of the United States 16 years ago. So I am not understanding what is Meghan's problem with Dr. Fauci. I want to know what Dr. Fauci did to her. And not just even, Dr. Fauci don't even know her. I don't know her. Never seen her in a day in his life. He never went on The View to talk to anybody, because he couldn't talk to nobody last year. So this is his first time in a while that he's going on TV and actually talking with news folks, which is good for him, because people can actually get answers and get questions. So for Meghan McCain to still come for Dr. Fauci after being told not to come for him by Dr. Vin Gupta, you still want to look like an ass? I guess she likes looking like an ass. That is exactly why she always gets dragged on Twitter, and I enjoy every goddamn minute of it, because she does it to herself. Nobody makes you look like a behind unless you make yourself look like a behind. And she does. A whole entire ass. So let's see what happens tomorrow when she says something else about Elise Stefanik saying something else and saying something about a Democrat. Because you know she's going to flip it like any other day. But I also find something interesting. This is interesting. So I was scrolling through my Twitter timeline when I came back because I took a walk outside. I handled some business in my house today because I feel like I'm still working from home. And I have to read this tweet because I think it's hilarious. I just got to refresh this page. So let me see where it is. Here we go. Representative Liz Cheney, Republican of Wyoming, will likely be voted off the House Republican leadership. Excuse me. Her crime, acknowledging the reality that Trump lost the election. The Republican Party is no longer a conservative party. It is an anti-democratic cult pushing the big lie and conspiracy theories. So who wrote that tweet? Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont, the independent senator who ran in both the 2016 and 2020 Democratic primaries. And the responses from his folks was funny. But I got to read one in particular because they seemed like they were going through some things, as I predicted nearly 2 months ago. You really speaking for warmonger Liz Cheney now? Jesus fucking Christ. The sad part about this is no matter how much of a team player Bernie is, the shit libs and the Democratic establishment will always hate him. Nick doesn't realize that Liz Cheney is not a Democrat. She's a whole entire conservative Republican. Almost a far-right extremist. And Nick doesn't understand that your dude has more of a Republican legislative record than the current president and the current vice president. He was never a champion for progressive policies as they proclaim him to be, which is so crazy. And it's no disrespect to the senator. It's no disrespect. But facts are facts. And also, these senators and these congressional folks, the old school folks, because Bernie Sanders is a part of that old school politician, as people don't think he is, but he actually is. They have a relationship. They literally have a relationship. Like, it's funny. The only one that's not really liked in Congress, in both chambers, is Ted Cruz, from far as I know. Bernie Sanders is not the most favorite person neither, but he's a lot better than Ted Cruz. But I gotta get enjoyment on this, reading this tweet again, because I find it to be so funny. So I'm gonna read it again for Christ's sake. So here is Nick is a Fred Hampton leftist tweet and his response to Bernie Sanders' defense for Elizabeth Lynn Cheney. You really speaking up for warmonger Liz Cheney now? Jesus fucking Christ. The sad part about this is no matter how much of a team player Bernie is, the shit libs and the Democratic establishment will always hate him. Not one word of the Republican Party that Bernie Sanders is actually defending from that political party. This is how dumb the Rose Twitter caucus is. No liberal was not even in that tweet from Bernie. Liz Cheney is a whole entire far-right conservative. Her voting record is 93% aligned with Donald Trump. The most conservative, far-right voting record with Donald Trump in Congress ever. This is exactly why Rose Twitter caucus always get side-eyed. Because of stupid shit like that. So, Nick, that tweet was stupid as fuck. And it shows how dumb you are. And I'm never wrong. I'm always right. So to your fan base that try to make me look like a whole entire idiot, you can all kiss my motherfucking ass because I'm always right. And I prove it all the time. And I'm so chill and cool about it. So you can quote tweet my shit, whatever you want to do, and slide in my mentions like crazy because I always keep it a buck. All day, every day. But the other replies in this thing is so funny. You just gotta laugh. You just got to laugh. And I'm glad, like, folks made it a laugh. Another person, he's not speaking for her. He's criticizing the GOP and how far gone they are. That's somebody that is defending Bernie Sanders, a diehard person. Another Bernie person, a white bro socialist. You know a bad person can do a good thing and get praised that good thing without having to actually approve of the person themselves. Get over it. So they all come after Nick on that one. But there's actually bad replies, and these replies are woo. So I'm just going to read some of them. To be fair, Cheney's brand of conservative should be thrown into the sun. What a crazy time when you have to jump in to defend, and rightfully so, a warmonger. Someone said, who cares? Another person said, the big lie was Iraq had WMDs, and there is no need to ever defend a Cheney. Stop that. Someone had a gift and. Her crimes run a lot deeper than that, Burn. Not an ally, not a person to defend. How? What would propose you to defend Liz Cheney? No one asked for this. You didn't need to tweet this. Someone said, you literally and accurately described the entire Dinopoly. Good job. I can't believe I used to support Bernie and I was a sad atheist back in 2016 until my spirit awakened. Misery loves company. I have to screenshot this because I might post this up later because I find it very comical and very funny. But this goes to show how stupid these online supporters for Bernie Sanders are. The Rose Twitter caucus, you some dumb motherfuckers. Like, y'all dumb. Bernie Sanders, as much as I don't like Liz Cheney, nor really don't care for Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is doing the thing that Republicans should be doing. Stand up for democracy. And Rose Twitter doesn't seem to understand that. That is exactly why people reject their ass all day, every day. And that's why folks like me from, the K-Hive, Kamala Harris supporters, and Amy Klobuchar supporters, and Pete Buttigieg supporters, and Biden supporters, we all come for their asses and fact check them because they always on the wrong side of history. They're always loud and wrong. All day, every day. If you understood what Senator Sanders said, then you should have had no problem with that, but obviously you do. I reply and say, are you a neo-corporate liberal shill now? Now you realize the establishment talk is all bullshit at the end of the day, Bernie? I guess it is. That Republican establishment, Democrat establishment ain't working no more. It ain't. It's a bunch of fucking foolishness, as it always been. But unfortunately, the Rose Twitter caucus seem to not understand. So, tough break for y'all. But until then, I will see you actually for my actual live tomorrow here on Twitter. And I might do Twitter Spaces on the after show. I think I need to start using my my restream again. So I probably will do that afterwards. But until then, folks, you have a wonderful night.